Here's the everything.
Yep, we got one right here.
They give you one. Okay.
Yep,
Wasn't sure
so-
if they made it to you or not.
What's that?
I wasn't sure if they made it to you
Yep,
yet or not.
absolutely. So nobody's using any sort of video or anything like that, right?
Okay. No, none of them I'm aware of.
Okay,
Nothing
sounds
yet,
great.
So I think we're good to go.
Sounds great.
Good morning, family. Happy Friday to everybody. One of the best assemblies of the year is about to happen. So in just a minute, the teachers are going to dismiss you to the auditorium for our Veterans Day of service. Say it every time, you guys are as good as it gets. This is obviously a very special and respectful moment. When you come in, let's get our feet off the auditorium chairs, put our phones away, let's keep the chatter down, just honor our veterans on the special day. So, teachers, go ahead and bring it down now. We're going to try to get started in 5 minutes for our Veterans Day. See you down there. Thank you.
family, can we please take a seat? Get ready to begin here. First of all, thanks DCG students for coming and joining us today. I know giving up class time is a big deal. But your respect in here is always appreciated. You guys do a fantastic job when we're in here celebrating each other, doing different things, getting off your cell phones, staying engaged, feet down, and just being awesome kids like you always are. And I know today will be no different. As I said on the intercom, this is one of the best things we get to do in here every year is honor our veterans and the sacrifices that they make every single day. And we don't do it enough, but I'm glad at least today we take dedicated time and certainly remember and honor heroes in our lives. So I would like to begin this observance assembly saying it's very humbling, and it is my honor to welcome you to the 2018 Veterans Day observance at Dallas Center Grimes High School. I want to welcome our students, our staff, and thank you all for being a part of this observance assembly. Also, a big thank you to our community members that took time from their busy schedules to join with us today. We're grateful to have you. Most importantly, I want to thank our veterans and their families for being here today. It is our utmost honor and privilege to be with you today to celebrate, honor, and remember all of our veterans. If I can real quick, students, if you have a family member that has served in the past, is currently serving, or you are interested in serving in the military, any one of the three, have had a family member serve, currently serving, or you are interested in joining our military, if you would please stand and be recognized. That's awesome. Thank you. As you can see, in our very own home of Dallas Center Grimes, we have people every single day that have or will be impacting our world and our country because of the sacrifices they make. So thank you to all of your families and to you students and staff members, that have had family members who are interested in serving yourself. That is a noble, honorable thing to do. A hero is someone who is admired for courage and noble qualities. Whether that be civilians who perform heroically in situations every day, other times we give celebrities or maybe sports figures the title of hero. However, our true American heroes are sitting with us today, representing the men and women that heroically sacrificed everything for us. Wonderful individuals that make up the United States of America. I want to thank you for your time with us this morning. I want to thank all of you for your service that are here with us today. I would now like to bring up our Rho Kappa members, Kaylin Berthofer and Mia Charleston, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please rise when I say your name. Curtis Pion, Ben Beavers, Ron Boyer, Melvin Beavers, Matthew Tapper, Bill Wineland, Gordon Davidson, Brett Nyquist, and Jeff Wolf. You may be seated. Thank you. I will be reading the Presidential Proclamation on National Veterans and Military Families Month. During National Veterans and Military Families Month, we salute the brave and dedicated patriots who have worn the uniform of the United States, and we celebrate the extraordinary military families whose selfless service and sacrifice make our military the finest in the world. Our nation's veterans represent the best of America. Generation after generation, men and women have answered the call to defend our country and our freedom, facing danger and uncertainty with uncommon courage. They make tremendous sacrifices by leaving their families to serve throughout the homeland and in combat, contingency, and humanitarian operations worldwide. Our heroes have always relied on their families for strength and support. Serving alongside our men and women in uniform are spouses, siblings, parents, and children who personified the ideals of patriotism, pride, resilience, servants above self, and honor. They endure the hardships and uncertainty of multiple relocations, extended trainings, and deployments because of their admirable devotion to our country and a loved one in uniform. President Ronald Reagan said, "America's debt to those who would fight for her defense doesn't end the day the uniform comes off." Our nation's veterans fulfilled their duty to this country with brave and loyal service. It is our moral and solemn obligation to demonstrate to them our continuing gratitude, unwavering support, and meaningful encouragement. I am steadfastly committed to ensuring our veterans and their families receive the care and support they deserve. I was pleased to sign into law the landmark VA Mission Act of 2018, which revolutionizes the way veterans receive health care and other services vital to their lives. The Department of Veterans Affairs is continuing to raise its standard of service, including through the establishment of the first National Center of Excellence for Veteran and Caregiver Research, which will improve services and outcomes for patients and their families. I have also mandated greater collaboration across the government to support veterans transitioning to civilian life. Additionally, Second Lady Karen Pence and I have collaborated on ways to elevate the career and educational opportunities for military spouses and children in partnership with state, local, and tribal officials. It is most appropriate that in this season of gratitude, we stop to recognize veterans, military families, and those who gave their lives in service to this great nation. We are indebted to these heroes for the freedoms we enjoy every day. I ask all Americans to join me in offering our sincere thanks to our veterans and the families who love and support them. Now, therefore, I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Constitution and the laws of the United States, do hereby proclaim November 2018 as National Veterans and Military Families Month. I encourage all communities, all sectors of society, and all American families for what they have done and for what they do every day to support our great nation, America the 243rd.
Born and raised on a farm in Montgomery County, Joni Ernst's parents instilled in her the values important to Iowans: hard work, service, and sacrifice. Joni received her undergraduate degree from Iowa State University, where she joined the university's ROTC program. After graduating, Joni joined the U.S. Army Reserves. In 2003, she served as a company commander in Kuwait and Iraq, leading 150 Iowa Army National Guardsmen during Operation Iraqi Freedom. Joni retired as a lieutenant colonel in the Iowa Army National Guard after 23 years of military service. Besides her military service, Joni has previously worked as Montgomery County Auditor and as a state senator. In November 2014, Joni was elected as the first woman to serve in federal elected office from the state of Iowa and also became the first female combat veteran elected to serve in the United States Senate. Please welcome United States Senator and veteran, Joni Ernst.
Thank you. What an honor to be with you today and to be with so many wonderful veterans. And I did notice as you were identifying all of the students that have family members that have served or those that are considering serving, I want to thank you so much for all that you have given, and hopefully that you will continue to give to our great nation. Now, I have been so very fortunate that through my 23 years of service, I have been able to meet some of the greatest men and women that our country has had to offer. It is a privilege to wear our nation's uniform. So thank you for allowing me to be with you today and to share some thoughts. And so again, good morning, everybody. I am Joni Ernst. I'm the junior senator for our great state of Iowa. And it's wonderful to be here on this Veterans Day weekend. And again, just so very honored to be with all of you today. I want to thank, of course, Principal Bloom. Thank you very much. And of course, all of our Rho Kappa folks. Thank you. What an extraordinary effort that you've put forward. And I'm pleased to be here. So again, I do serve the great state of Iowa, and as noted before, I've had the wonderful opportunity to serve my great nation as well. But it started many years ago on our small family farm in Red Oak. My folks really did instill in me the values that so many Iowa families do, and that is hard work, service, and sacrifice to our country. And it is, as I've said many times over, it is a long ways from Red Oak, Iowa to Washington, D.C. But I have stepped foot even farther away from home than Washington, D.C. And that includes places like Kuwait and Iraq, where I served as a company commander, leading 150 of the finest soldiers that you could imagine during that operation, again, Operation Iraqi Freedom. And as I think back on that time as well, I am also reminded, and it's never very far from my mind or my heart, the 4,500 service members that have given the ultimate sacrifice and lost their lives in service to our nation during the Iraq War. I have been so fortunate that during my 23 years of service, I have been able to wake up and know that I have served with some of the most patriotic and selfless Americans who truly put their service ahead of self and put their lives on the line in defense of our freedom. Now, I know that many of you have been recognized already as veterans, and if I could, maybe by a show of hands, those that have family members or those that have served in the United States Navy, would you please raise your hands? Thank you very much. Those that have family, friends, or those that would like to serve in the United States Army, please raise your hands. Okay, how about the United States Marine Corps? Okay, and the newest of services, the Air Force. Fantastic. And of course, those protecting our shores and our homeland, the United States Coast Guard. Okay, very good. Well, I want to thank you all very much for that sacrifice and serving each distinct branch of our United States military. Now, growing up again, a lot of folks have asked me, Joni, what was it that led you to serve in the United States military? And I have been exposed to those that have served through many eras and many times of conflict and war, whether it was Korea, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Panama, Iraq, Afghanistan, many other conflicts. But one thing that is constant through those eras is that our country always remained a shining example of freedom, which is one of the things that led me into the service. And when I say freedom, a lot of you may think about different things and what that brings to your mind. Some people think freedom of speech, that First Amendment right, freedom of speech to be able to say what I want. That is a freedom. Or freedom of the press, again, that is another freedom. So those are certain types of freedoms, but oftentimes it comes in the form of something that is much less tangible. It's not really something that we can wrap our arms around, that freedom. So when I was in college at Iowa State University, I participated in an agricultural exchange program that took me to Ukraine. Can anybody tell me what country Ukraine would have been part of in 1989? That's when I participated. Ukraine. Just shout it out. Yes, the Soviet Union, the USSR. So I know many of you weren't born then. Most of you weren't born then. But it was part of the Soviet Union, which was a communist country. And that's where my ag exchange took me. So this was the late 1980s, well before, as I said, many of you were born. And in the 1980s in America, we had a lot of still conveniences. So how many of you have phones? Yeah, I heard the principal say to shut your phones off. Okay, so most of you have phones, cell phones, landlines. We have those in some of our homes yet today. How many have cars? Okay, bingo. Okay, so those that have farming families, you use tractors? Yeah. How about indoor plumbing? Let's hear it for indoor plumbing. Yeah. Okay. So here in Iowa, we had all of those things. We had phones, flushing toilets, we don't think a thing about it. But we had those things in 1989 here in Iowa. When I went to the Soviet Union, into Ukraine, and onto the collective farm where we were doing farming activities, the family I stayed with did not have any of those things. We had an outhouse. We did not have a phone. The family did not have a car. They shared one bicycle amongst all of the family members. On the collective, they were still using horses and wagons. This is 1989. So in the 1980s in America, we were worried about what's the next Madonna song going to be, or something like that. And in the Ukraine, they were thinking about, okay, is my cow going to survive another year so I can go milk it in the morning? How many eggs is my chicken going to lay so I can provide for my family? That was the Soviet Union in 1989. And so what we found going through that experience, and it was very different because a lot of you have your cell phones, right? You can pick up your cell phone, you can make a phone call anytime you want, unless it's in class, right? On that collective that I lived on, going back to the phone issue, there was only one phone on the entire collective. And in order to use that telephone, which was at the collective manager's home, you had to ask permission to use that phone, and then the collective manager would want to know who you're calling, why you're calling them, how long your phone call would be, and then he would monitor your conversation. 1989, Ukraine, Soviet Union. Think about where we were in 1989. We could call anybody at any time. So again, it was an agricultural exchange, and so we would come together in the evenings as a community. There were 18 of us from Iowa participating in this ag exchange. And the first night that we came together at the community center, we sat down, and again, it's an ag exchange. We thought we would talk about different forms of agriculture, comparing Iowa to the horse and wagon system of Ukraine, and just the differences between our countries. So think about maybe what the first question was that they asked for that Ag Exchange, that first community meeting. What do you think that question was? The first question that was asked on this Ag Exchange by our Ukrainian counterparts was, what is it like to be free? Let that sink in. Ukraine, 1989, you can't use a phone without permission. The family I stayed with, my Soviet sister, had never traveled off of the collective farm. That would be like some of you that live in Grimes, never ever leaving Grimes. You had to have permission to move from community to community, and that was given by the government. The Ukrainians were hungering for freedom. The second question that was asked, what is it like to be an American? They saw what we had here in the United States of America, and that's what they wanted. So when I got back from that exchange, I decided I can no longer take my country for granted. I can't take the values and the freedoms and the opportunities that are presented by the United States for granted any longer. What is it that I can do as a young American to support this great nation? And I decided what I can do is to provide my service to this great nation. And I returned from that exchange and I joined the Iowa State Army ROTC program and spent 23 wonderful years serving in our United States military. I truly learned at that point what it meant to be free. You know, not just the freedom to say what I want, not just the freedom of the press, but truly what it meant to be free and have the opportunities that we do here in the United States. So that's why so many of our veterans do serve, and why they step up, and why they put on the uniform. They want to support and defend those values, those freedoms that we take for granted every single day. When you pull out that cell phone, I want you to think about, wow, what an opportunity we have here in the United States of America. When you go at the end of the day and get into your car and you're able to drive to another community, or just simply think about the opportunities that we have here in the United States of America. When you're choosing your college, or maybe be grateful that you are not told by your government that this is the career field that you will serve in. You have the opportunity to make your own decisions because we have those freedoms that we take for granted every single day. So our veterans have stepped up through every era, through every season, through every year, to present those opportunities when other countries are hungering for those opportunities. So we have been able to defend our values around this globe, and it's because of our veterans that we have been able to do that. Our veterans value our great nation, the United States of America, and it's the reason that they put that uniform on every single day. It's the reason they go headfirst into battle. It's the reason that they fly planes in combat. It's the reason they keep those planes flying. It's the reason they handle munitions. It's the reason they do the things they do, because we are the greatest nation on the face of the planet. And it's the reason that we celebrate Veterans Day, because it is a rare individual that would lay down their life for those that live in other countries that may never truly and fully appreciate the sacrifice of an American on their soil. This is why we have a day every year where we honor our veterans and the values that really bring us together as Americans. This is a day that we can be truly thankful that we live in the country that we do, and that we are able to take such small things for granted, like a car or a cell phone or running water or a flushing toilet. We need to be thankful for those men and women who have volunteered to defend our way of life. And we need to be unified as a country around supporting our veterans. And even though we don't always agree on how we arrive at supporting our veterans, we can all agree that America's veterans fought to protect our freedoms and ensure our way of life. And we must take care of those who have dedicated their lives to a lifetime of service. And so as I close here today, I do want to thank you for having me here and for the time and attention that you have given to our veterans. I want to thank those of you that are considering entering our military service and putting on that uniform of our nation. As I said, it is a rare person who would volunteer to provide selfless service and sacrifice to a nation. There are many people out there that don't understand why service members do what they do. But I think we can all agree that it is worthy and it is noble. So thank you again for allowing me to be here today to honor our veterans. I wish you the best through the weekend. And as you encounter those veterans, please thank them and know that we appreciate them. So God bless you all for coming together today. God bless our beautiful state of Iowa, and of course, God bless our veterans and the great United States of America. Thank you for coming out today. Thank you very much.
We will now honor the veterans lost over the last year.
Jans E. Stinger,
Gary A. Good,
Robert Stokes,
James D. Gambrell,
Paul J. Buckaloo,
Donald C. McKenty,
Gary Goby,
Leonard Jean Norris,
Archie Arkoff,
Greg Phillips,
Joseph A. Rodriguez,
John Iernisi,
Myron Olson,
Dr. Wilbur C. Miller,
Richard Dick Hoffman,
Robert Bob Roth,
Donald Cromwell,
Rex Devine,
Mary G. Lotterini,
Dennis Smith,
Dean Archer,
Lou Rhodes,
Blake D. Harrison,
Richard Dick Nancy,
John R. Lotterini,
Ronald Long,
Lester Mitchell,
Marion Taglioli,
and Max Hauser.
This coming Monday, November 12th, Del Center Grimes High School secondary staff will donate money to the GI Go Fund as a show of support for our veterans service and as a commitment to their future success. We would love for as many students that wanted to join us as well on this day, donating money to the GI Go Fund. This fund provides support for veterans' job search, healthcare, and education. I'd like to take a quick moment as well. Can I have the Rho Kappa members of our high school please stand if you're a part of Rho Kappa? A round of applause for these folks who organized this. Thank you, gang. This crew has been instrumental in organizing this great event, and we thank you, students, for your time. Real quick, the Rho Kappa Social Studies Honor Society is the only national organization for high school students that recognizes excellence in the field of social studies and provides national recognition opportunities for exploration in social studies endeavors. Rho Kappa chartered schools are found in 41 states and 4 countries. Del Center Grimes chapter was the first and now is one of 2 Iowa chapters. Thank you to Mr. Vanderploeg for leading this group and for our Rho Kappa members. Also, a quick shout out and thank you to our entire social studies team who again worked together closely with our Rho Kappa members to put on this event. Thank you, social studies, for organizing this for us. Can we get another round of applause for Senator Bernie? Thank you for a great message and for your service. We appreciate it very much. And also a round of applause again for our veterans here. Respecting here. Again, as Senator Ernst said, please thank those veterans you see in this building and out and about no matter what time of year it is. So as I ask you all the time before you go out there to the third period, make sure you go home and change the world. All right? Thanks, family. Have a good day.